Hi, everyone. It's meteorologist Joe Chaffee on this Friday, Veterans Day, and all the best to all our veterans who have fought in past wars and to defend this country. Our hearts go out to you, and so does our support. We have a radar, a U.S. radar that is very interesting because it doesn't have happen that often, and I guess we can say that it's very interesting because it's not interesting at all. If we look at some radar echoes in the northwestern upper corner of the state of Washington. Okay, so just follow me here. I'm going to move across, and oh my, there are some showers coming off the lake of something or another, and some showers and snow showers up in upstate New York. Okay, and then we go south and there's nothing, and we go west and there are a few scattered showers in Texas. The middle part of the country, nothing. And the west and the southwest, take a look, and what do we have? Very little, if anything, at all. So this doesn't happen very often. It did happen at one point yesterday morning, where the radar across the country did not show a single shower anywhere. So that is how beyond uneventful our weather pattern is. Now, I want to point out a couple of things that have happened over the last week. I've just been kind of watching now that it's not really relevant in terms of the forecast, but just still kind of interesting to see. The Siberian snow cover growth continues at an almost parabolic rate, and we are now 11 days into the month of November, and it's still growing off the charts, the highest rate at any time in the last 13 years. But look at what's happened to snow cover in North America. It went from being number one through the month of October and has since not only stabilized, but it actually has crashed. And we are now, in the last 11 days, we have lost so much snow cover in North America that we are seeing the lowest snow cover growth in the last 13 years. Okay, but when you look at it from the standpoint of the entire Northern Hemisphere, the snow cover growth is still right near the top. So it seems that it is all happening across Eurasia, and now even in spite of the fact that the snow cover growth in North America is actually declining, has been in decline since the very end of October through the first 11 days of November. Now, I don't want folks to read too much into that, because I will recall back from last year when the snow cover growth last year in North America was fairly robust, and you can see it here on the green line. And also, I can remember having conversations with some forecasters regarding the fact that the snow cover growth, particularly in eastern Canada and southeastern Canada, was very, very strong last year. And you know what? It didn't make a difference. So, I don't want to read too much into this. I just thought it was kind of interesting to see. Now, I want to look at the GFS model going forward. First, we'll start with the new run, which I only have out to day 6. And, here's our cold air mass that moves into tonight. I mean, the most exciting thing that's going on is the fact that we have a freeze warning for 2 counties in New York State and a couple of counties in northeastern New Jersey. And this is just really mind-numbing in my view. Now, we are going to be dry. And I want you to recall that last week at one point the European had a wrapped-up bomb storm sitting over or just north of New York City or just south of New York City. And this is what you're winding up with. Just a weak low with an upper air disturbance that moves by to the northeast, and that's it. Now, at the same time, I want to look at the west, because we do have at least something coming into the western states in the form of rain into the Pacific Northwest, and you can see it there, and then some snow start to move eastward into Utah, Idaho, and Montana. So at least that's a bit of a change from what we've been seeing. Something is going to try and happen next week, but still no signs of any big storms. I'm going to go back one model run so you can see there is a deep low that forms in Nebraska, but the moisture is very limited, and you do start to see some snows falling through southwestern Canada and parts of the northern Rockies as that low moves on up into west, way to the west in the Great Lakes. So in the meantime, here in the eastern states, we really don't have too much. There's another little shot of cold air that comes in late next week, and then that high moves out, and then we wait for this weather front to come through after that, and then that moves out. But it does seem like there's some action is trying to start to show up in the western states. I mean, whether that winds up being real or overdone remains to be seen. But we're still in this very persistent dry pattern, and it's nationwide. That's the thing that really strikes me with all of this, is that there have always been localized droughts in places that get subpar rainfall, but other places would get above par rainfall and will kind of balance out in the long, over the large scale. But this is, to see it coast to coast like this, is really unusual. Let's go to the upper air just real fast. Sometimes I also think that, just at the point that you think the weather, it gets at the absolute most boring, something winds up happening that the long range is not picking up on at the moment. But, we've got a lot of problems here with the upper atmosphere the way it is. Even if the overall flavor of the pattern changes somewhat, it doesn't necessarily change the long scale, the big scale things that are going on. And you can see this trough here in the east. It's just, it's progressive, it's weak, it's not really anything well developed and well defined. You've got these weather systems coming in from off the Pacific, which is a change, and you have Canada in sort of a reorganizing mess through all of this. I'll back up one run so we can go out a little further, and you can take a look. And even from last night's run, that trough is just in the east is just a big snooze. And now the next system that follows it, even the models are now really backing off on what that was going to be looking like. And it's just the flow and the pattern just really is, put you to sleep. So anyway, let's call it a day on this Friday. I'll save my energy for when there are things going on. So have a great rest of your Friday. We'll, of course, probably be posting stuff over the weekend. Maybe we'll have something more to talk about, okay? And don't forget, meteorologist JoeChaffee.com, weatherlongisland.com, and ssstormchasers.com.